They say appearances can be deceptive. Everybody sees the success, the polish, and the poise, but they rarely see beyond the surface. This is a space where we will discuss the realities of being human, from the heights of my professional success to the depths of my own personal trauma. I'm joined each week by my mate Stuart Bailey.
Hello.
Say hi, Stu.
Hi, Stu.
As we chew the fat and break down some difficult topics around heartbreak, trauma, and life. I'm Frances Hallworth, and this is Being Imperfectly Frances. This week on Imperfectly Frances. That's me, by the way.
Calm it, love. Calm it.
So, Stu, what we're talking about this week?
Well, we want to know a little bit more about your rags to riches career is what we want to do. Because you did all right, didn't you? You were shopping for billionaires and all sorts. We'll get to that. But let's start at the beginning.
Oh, the beginning. I had a paper round.
All right.
I used to cycle up and down my road and throw papers.
You know, we're just saying off air about not getting sidetracked, right?
That is my
This is what
riches.
I'm talking about.
On my little BMX, here's a paper, here's a paper, here's a paper.
Imperfectly Frances, everybody. Right, no, seriously, let's get back to brass tacks here.
Okay, good.
So you left school, 16, 18, university, any of that?
No, I didn't go to university.
Okay.
Because I started my education late, I wasn't academically strong enough to go to university at that age.
Yeah.
By the time I was 25, 26, probably I was ready to go. But by that point, I was enjoying earning money. So, I didn't go.
Let's cut back to that. Let's talk about you starting to earn money. So what did you do? Leave school after A-levels?
So I did my GCSEs, did retakes because I failed maths.
Right.
And then I failed maths again. And then went on to study childcare.
Was that at college?
Yeah, so I went on to college, studied leisure and tourism, then did childcare, and that's where I got my first job, which was in the money brokers, which we spoke about previously.
That's nothing to do with childcare, though.
No, well, like I said, apparently I swore too much for kids.
Right, it doesn't surprise me.
Fuckers. So instead, financial services it was, with my dyslexic mathematical brain.
Excellent.
Made logical sense.
So what were you doing? You did like PA in there, or what?
Yeah. So basically, I did a kind of. There was no real plan in my career. I think I was fortunate in that I got good jobs and I learned really quickly.
Yeah.
So even though I wouldn't have a Scooby-Doo what I was going in to do, I picked up what I was meant to do very quickly.
Yeah.
So I fell into working into financial services as like a receptionist and then PA, where literally you're looking after accountants and marketing executives and just managing their diaries, booking a lot of travel, a lot of complicated travel.
So you said you weren't academically brilliant, but you learn very quickly. So being in that kind of environment, dealing with all these financial bods, you're obviously picking up how it all works, and you're starting to get a feel for it without necessarily having the qualifications. You've got a better experience because you've seen it firsthand. You know how it's working. Is that right?
So I had a good aptitude for business.
Yeah.
So what it meant is that any organisation that I went into, for me, my primary driver was understanding how that business operated and functioned. What are the processes and procedures that needed to happen in order to get things done, to get things passed, to be efficient. To make sure that I was operating efficiently, that I was supporting my team well. And it also meant that I could implement new strategies that I felt would improve the efficiency of how I was working and the support that I was giving the team that I worked with, and also how the business operated as well. So for me, understanding like the sales and marketing side of the business, the operational side of the business, the financial side of the business, the HR side of the business, all of the other different functions of what it takes to operate a business, I prided myself on figuring out how to learn all of that.
You see, this is, sorry to interrupt, this is what I love about this story, is that you came from a real underprivileged background, probably eked your way through school, really, probably, and didn't, like you said in your own words, you weren't academically brilliant, probably because you weren't really in a learning frame of mind with it, given all the trauma.
No, exactly.
But you've gone into this job and you've actually learned probably more in that job, in that however long you were there, than somebody would have learned 4 years at university.
Yeah, because
so in actual fact, it's actually not a bad thing at all, is it?
It's like life skills, literally like life skills, So I would go down. Some of my jobs would be like printing reports and having like multiple reports printed in the print room. So when I would be down in the print room, I'd be asking them questions about, well, how does the print room operate? Where does all their stock come from? How do they purchase their stock in? What machines do they order? How many ink cartridges do they go through? Who does what within the teams, within the print room? When the post comes in, how does it get delivered across an organisation with 5,000 employees? How do you actually make sure that all the post goes to the right places? When you're doing like posting out, do you use a stamp machine or do you put stamps on it? How do you do that? When you're booking travel, how do we book travel? Do we have a travel operator? Do we walk down to the station and buy a ticket? How is that reclaimed? What's the most efficient way of reclaiming that? Who does that reclaim? So for me,
they're skills that you can apply to any business at the end of the day.
But they're transferable, right? And what it does is it meant when it came to me actually running my own business, because I'd learned so much about it, and by the time I got to making the decision to set up my own business, I'd basically helped business owners run their business from an operational point of view.
Okay. So we got that. You're working in the finance company as a PA, you're learning all the trade. What happened next?
So what happened next? So I ended up working I got made redundant from one of my jobs, and so one of the jobs that I was doing, I transitioned from being an executive PA into a business PA, which was slightly different.
Well, what's the difference? I wouldn't have a clue.
Right. So the difference is you're still doing like all the mundane shit, like the expenses reports and all of the travel and all of the appointments and telephone calls and all of the other stuff that goes into supporting an exec. The business side of it is actually, how does the business operate? So like they were going to go and launch themselves onto the stock exchange.
Right.
So they were going for IPO. So in order to do that, there's a whole spectrum of work that has to be done in order for them to get accredited to be able to actually launch the IPO on the stock exchange, so that then the company goes public and the public can buy stocks and shares into that organisation, which makes a much more financially viable organisation from being a PLC.
Yeah.
So so in this job, I went from being an executive PA, which was just expenses, writing reports,
boring crap.
Travel and all of that crap, which is boring, essential but boring. To helping organize this organisation get ready to go onto the stock exchange. Little things like in order for them to go into the stock exchange, they were looking for investment. In order for them to do the investment, they needed everybody in the organisation to go through this accreditation thing to show them that all of the members of staff actually were qualified insurance brokers, and that they were in the right legality of the law to be operating as they were. And my boss gave me the time. I think I'd only been in the job 3 months, right? I'd never worked in insurance up to that point. I'd always worked in banks. And he just went, right, well, you need to make sure that every single person across the organisation completes this course, right? Every single one has to do it. It's a prerequisite for this process. And I want you to take the course. At the end of the course, there's an exam. And I passed. I think I gave myself a day to actually do the course and go through it. and I passed it, and my boss was like, how the fuck did you pass that? I was like, I really don't know, but I did.
Yeah.
But then I had to like.
So how sorry, at this point, how old are you at this point? I know it's a hell of
20. No, I'm 30. I'm 30.
Okay,
30,
I was gonna say
yeah.
you're not 30 now.
No. I'm
Gotcha.
30. But also part of the challenge of doing a job like that is you get a lot of people there that have self-inflated views of themselves, that think they are above being told what to do by a mere secretary.
Right, yeah.
Which is the worst way to be with me, because I'm like, I'm going to grind your ass now. But because I was in a business PA capacity, I was empowered that anything I said was essentially what the CEO was telling everybody else to do.
Yeah.
So any resistance I got,
did you grass them up?
I met them with a brick wall.
Right.
Right. I had to meet them with a brick wall, because people, being a PA can be looked down upon or frowned upon, right? If you're an old school misogynistic asshole. However, if you are a good PA, right, you are literally the pillars of that organization. You are the gatekeeper to the CEO, to the executive suite of people that are running that organization. You understand what they're doing, why they're doing it, and who is doing what within the organization. Anybody that needs to get through to the executive suite has to go through you. If you're doing your job right, then your CEO or managing director or whomever it is, your vice president you're working for, they will know, they will empower you to act on their behalf, because they know that you understand the drives and the needs of the business to do that. Unless it is something financial or legal that you would have to approach them for, you act as a wedge between them and the organisation, which allows them the ability to get on with the business as usual, to actually do all the reports, all the financial funding and everything else that they need to do in order to get the business to the next level of where they need it to be, which is like the business strategy that they've written, like a 5-year plan or whatever they've done. So essentially, to be a good PA, you have to understand your worth as a good PA, right? Yeah. It's no good knowing your shit. It's good knowing your shit. But if you don't know your worth, then no matter how good you are at your job, if you're too afraid to implement it, have the awkward conversations, step and be disruptive where you need to be without causing any fractions, then you're never going to be more than just a PA, and you're always going to just sit outside the door.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I mean, in some of the jobs that I've done, I worked for a CEO of a food manufacturing company, and it was a tiny organisation. It was only about 25 people there, but it was a £10 million turnover.
Wow.
And the CEO that came in, he'd only been there, it was a family-run business, been running for years. He came in, and after a year, he shifted the financials from about 1 million or 2 million up to 10 million, just because of how he shifted the organisation. However, he was a highly stressed individual, highly stressed. He would always recruit sales teams in from university, and all of the young sales executives that he would hire in, they'd be like 22, 23, 24. And they wouldn't have a fucking clue. They wouldn't have a clue. So there would be a process in place. They'd be given a multi-million pound account to manage. All they would have to do is ensure they manage the account, provided the sales reports, and any new business, they'd do the pitch for it, practice the pitch, present the pitch to him. I would have to often knock on his office door, ask him if he needed a cigarette, and then take the crying student into another room and go, right, let's break this down.
Yeah.
Because they would be devastated, because he'd be so frustrated because they didn't get actually how lucky they were the position that you've just come out of university and been given a £5 million contract.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
right, and
yeah.
and you can't even write your sales report for the end of the month, which you have to do every month, which I chase you to do, which I've given you the template to do, which I'll even help you write. And that's my job as his PA, to filter all of that noise for him. So when it gets to the end of the month and they've got their sales and marketing meeting, they've done their job.
So you've got to have a really solid understanding of how that business works to be given that level of responsibility to start
exactly.
with. Yeah.
And in that organisation, I'd never worked in FMCG before, so I didn't understand supply chain, like where goods were coming from, and I also didn't understand, from source to shelf, right? And that whole process. So I was learning an awful lot about ambient food products. I've never eaten so many anchovies in my life. But equally, I would send out our supply chain guys to the remotest places in like the South Pacific to go and, fish with the fishermen that caught the tuna, that caught the salmon. Then we'd go into the warehouses where the fish was taken, stripped, and then cooked, put into tins. Did you know, for example, the tin of salmons that you get from any of the major retailers in the UK, they actually cook them in the tin can, and then what they do, they cut the tin can, and when you get to the part where it's the head, when you open the can, you'll see the top of the spine of the fish, and that's where they've precisely cut the tins.
Wow.
And I didn't know that until I worked in that company.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there going, that's fucking fascinating.
Yeah.
That is fascinating. And then they white label it, and then they store it, and they stock it, and then they ship it off to the retailers. And I did that job for 9 months.
Wow.
And I learned a shit ton about fish.
Do you still eat tinned salmon?
No, I never really ate it then either. But the point is, I was recruited as a PA, but I become integral to the business, to supporting the CEO and how he operates that business. It's because his personality style wasn't very employee friendly.
Yeah.
And I can genuinely say, when I left, and I actually left because I was setting up my business, he was upset because he'd never had a PA that actually understood how to operate, how a business operates, and how to effectively manage a C-suite group of executive.
So you've had a pretty good basis there and learning how businesses run and stuff like that, and you've obviously got to the point, you've touched on it a couple of times, you've gone, fuck working for someone else, I want to work for myself and set up your own business. Or have I jumped the gun a bit?
No, you've jumped the gun a little bit there. So from working as a business and executive PI, I then transitioned into working in the private world. It's an entirely different skill set. The requirements of a private family are vastly different to the requirements of the CEO of a fish or financial institution. So
when you say private, it means sort of like a family-run business.
Well, it could have been a family office, but on this occasion, it wasn't family offices. It was individual families, high net worth families.
Right.
So part of that can be working with their PAs and their business PAs to make sure that the calendars align. Part of it would be completely separate, depending upon the family's needs.
Yeah.
But the types of tasks that I was being asked to do were, booking restaurants, red carpet affairs, chauffeurs, private chefs, florists, housekeepers, firing and sacking staff, kids' diaries, schools, Botox, whatever else suctions they were having. All kinds of things, literally all kinds of things. I was once requested to host a birthday party for a 7-year-old, and they asked me to get elephant musks for decoration, ivory elephant musks, and I was like,
tusks.
That's the one. Yeah, and I just remember thinking, what the fuck? This kid is 7 years old. Like,
where'd you get them from then?
I didn't get them.
You didn't. I was going to say.
I didn't get them. I was like, I wouldn't even know where to start. And
also, I'd imagine it'd be
it's illegal. It's illegal, right? So there is an element of going, I'm not sure about this. Maybe I won't do that. But organising events, parties, hosting, being available 24/7, phone's never off. I mean, I'd literally get phone calls 3, 4 o'clock in the morning telling me stuff that needed to be done. And it is...
But that was really well paid, wasn't it?
No, it's not as well paid as you would think. So these people want slave labour for very little money.
Right, of course, yeah.
Those jobs are worth about 100 grand a year. Most families will only pay about 45 to 55 a year for that job.
Yeah.
But they'll expect you to be available 24/7, unless an unreasonable request.
Yeah.
I actually was interviewed to be the PA to the Prince of Sudan. Probably not a popular topic right now, but I was interviewed by the princess.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
I was.
Did you get the job?
No, do you know why I didn't get the job? Because I had a boyfriend.
So why would these rich families need to pay 40, 55, 60 grand a year to... What
Tax
do they want?
evasion. Well, actually, no, that's not necessarily true. Unless you're a self-employed PA, they still have to pay PAYE and...
Right, yeah. But what is it just show, oh, yeah, we'll get our girl to do that? Is it that kind of thing?
Well, basically it is. I mean, you have to understand as well that actually they are business owners in their own right, right? So one of the families that I worked with, he was a banker, corrupt banker.
Right.
And so, you know, he did have a full-time job and they had 3 kids. And the kids were precious. And, you know, they have a very active social life, lots of charity stuff that they do. And yeah, they need somebody that can ring the restaurants and make sure that they're cooking their steak to the right temperature as they walk downstairs from their hotel room to sit down for dinner.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's an important part of my job.
Bloody hell.
Mm.
How does that make like working for these?
Well, the thing is, right, it's like you're in another country and they're calling you to do that, and it's like dial 0.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But it's about self-importance, isn't it? And also equally, non-judgments aside, right? As a good private PA, my job is to know every front of house at every major restaurant, every private members club, every nightclub, all of the heads of private shopping in every single department store and every brand across the whole of London and any major city they go to. If they go to New York, I know that I need to ring up the concierge at the hotel they're staying in and go, right, what's just opened? I want a table. Yeah. I know that if they can't get me in, I have to ring another hotel. Yeah. That's my job. That's how I do my job well. So that's how you become a good private PA.
They must have asked you to do some pretty weird stuff as well. Come on, what else have you been asked? Something a little bit off the cuff. I mean, I understand booking a restaurant or doing a bit of shopping for them or something like that. But come on, they must have had some weird requests.
Well, you mean you always get requests for like prostitutes and drugs and stuff like that. I mean, that's kind of standard these days.
Right.
Not well. I have to be careful about what I say.
I mean, I was looking for things like prostitutes and drugs. I was just wondering if there's anything a little bit weirder than that. Do you know what I mean?
Not weirder, but unreasonable. So one family I worked for, they decided they were going to buy a puppy.
Right.
They're going to buy a puppy from Harrods. Who knew Harrods sold puppies? I didn't at the time, but they did. Don't anymore. They also used to sell lion cubs and tiger cubs and some such things as well, apparently. Anyway, they ring me up. They go, right, we want this puppy. Ring Harrods. Pay the £50 deposit. Okay, so I do that. We're going to take the puppy to France on our summer holiday, which was 2 weeks away. Puppy was 4 weeks old. Now, if any of you know about anything about puppies, they have to have certain inoculations before they're allowed to travel anywhere. And at 4 weeks old, they are not old enough.
They're not even meant to be with their mother, away from their mums at 4 weeks old.
So, I go, pretty sure you can't do that. Yes, you can. Find me a vet that will inoculate this puppy. He is coming to France with us. I couldn't find a vet. Right? Couldn't find a vet. You're useless. You're shit. You're going to be fired. Am I?
Wow.
Right? Call Harrods. So I ring Harrods. Ask them if they will keep the puppy until we come back from our 6-week vacation in the south of France. Like, pretty sure they're going to tell you to do one. When I go, they're like, yeah, that's just animal cruelty, which it is. So again, I get you're a useless piece of shit. Why am I even paying you? Bullshit. And this guy goes, I'm gonna find some of your rubbish. So he goes, ring this vet. He's said he can do it. So I ring the vet, and of course he's lied about the puppy's age and everything else.
Oh, right.
So the guy's going, yeah, of course, bring the puppy in next week. Like, when was the puppy born? So I give the date. It's like, the puppy's what, 4-5 weeks old? I'm like, yeah. It's like, well, the puppy can't be inoculated. No. Well, I'm not prepared to do that. No. And so I said, would you mind calling my boss? Because he will not believe me.
That was a dangerous game to play. Jesus.
And tell him that you will not inoculate an underage puppy so that they can take it on holidays to satisfy their spoiled fucking kids.
Jesus.
Hence, the puppy was never bought. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? That utter.
That's just totally unreasonable.
Unreasonable.
And not to mention illegal.
Thoughtless. Yeah. Selfish. Cruel. Like,
and then call you a piece of shit because you don't want to do it.
Mate, honestly, that was my number.
Should we name him?
No,
we can't do that, shall we?
Can't.
You know who you are.
It wasn't English. I will tell you that. Yeah, they were special. They were a special family. Yeah.
So what else? Come on, you must have. That can't be the only isolated weird request you've had from a multi-millionaire who wants you as their skivvy for 45 grand a year.
No. I had somebody ring me up once and ask me to organise some flights for them to go home urgently, like the following day. Right. And it was bank holiday weekend, and I'd gone away for the weekend. It was Sunday or Monday, I think it was. Right. I had no service whatsoever where I was. And I got the phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning from a drunk person telling me they needed to fly via wherever the following day. So I look into all the flights and all the options and all the rest of it. I'd already sorted out the itinerary for them to go home. So I was on a bit of a tight schedule to try and organise this without missing the deadline for their current pickup, for their current flight, and getting all that set in. So set all that up for them. And she's ringing me up and she's screaming down the phone, screaming at me, going, why haven't you done it? And I'm like, I've sent you all of the details. You haven't told me what you want to do. I've got no signal. I'm with my family. It's a bank holiday weekend. Be reasonable. Anyway, so I put all the plans in place, get them checked into the flight, send the itinerary to the hotel, make sure the hotel deliver the itinerary to their suite, confirm it via text to both of the parties. And I get a phone call at 4 o'clock in the morning from the drunk partner calling me useless and shit and incompetent, and where the hell was his fucking flight details, and he was supposed to catch a flight and he couldn't get on it, and I was fired again, and he was just too drunk to notice the envelope on his bedside table. Wow. And it's like, fucking hell, these people. And so the thing is, it's not even about it being outlandish requests. It's more the level of unreasonable behaviour. Yeah. So when you have over a certain amount of net worth, right, everything has to be insured. That insurance has to be itemised. So you have to send an insurance broker in to insure it and itemise everything. That only works if you're honest about the value of your goods.
Yeah.
So when your £25,000 watch is stolen, but you've only had it valued for £10,000 because you don't want to pay the premium on insurance, guess
Well, that's
fucking
just
what?
stupid. Yeah.
It's not going to be paid out for 25 grand, is it?
Yeah.
You fucking idiot.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer, that.
Oh, but guess what? I'm useless. I'm fired. Because it's my fault.
There's two people you don't lie to. It's fucking medical care and insurance.
Honest
You know what I
to
mean?
God, I couldn't believe it. Oh, and they were like, the cleaner stole it. And I'm like, did she?
Yeah.
Or are you just trying to do one over the insurance? Like, come on.
Yeah, that's a joke, isn't it?
So when you're exposed to this level of
fuckery,
utter embolism, it's like, fuck me.
Is that what drove you to set up your own business?
It was, and it's also what drove me to be really selective about the clients that I would have.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because I was just like, well, you're a cunt, and I don't want to work with you, so no.
No.
And I don't care.
Just employ someone else to deal with someone you don't like.
No, do you know what it is as well? I mean, I built my business on mutual respect, right? Because there is no respect in the world of private PAs, right?
Yeah.
I've met private PAs of some very famous people. And some of the stories that I cannot mention are like, come on, seriously. And they work their socks off. As a private PA, you do it because you're working for a well-known personality, or they're in the fashion industry, or you're going to get to travel on their yacht every Christmas, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And it's just not worth it for the amount of money they pay, honestly.
Yeah.
And for the level of stress that they, don't get me wrong, you can find families that are amazing, right? They are few and far between. They really are. And yeah, it's just like, yeah, when you're got housekeepers, packing, 5 suitcases, for a 3-year-old, it's like,
yeah,
the fuck? Seriously? Thank you for listening to Imperfectly Frances. Hopefully you have enjoyed this episode. If so, please make sure that you subscribe to our channels and follow us on social media for more exciting behind the scenes and daily insights. I'm really glad that you are on this journey with me. I am Frances Hallworth, and I will see you on the next episode.